Jenny here at the Laundry Garden and welcome back. We have had an extremely busy start to July with parties and gatherings. It's been wonderful and we've probably used the garden a lot more than what we did last year. But we have got a lot of catching up to do now, and that is to start cutting back some of the perennials that finished flowering back in the spring. We have also just announced the second open garden event of the year, which will be on the 20th and 21st of September, which is about 7 weeks away. Now that gives me a nice time frame to start preparing the garden ready for that event. The dahlias are just starting to flower with so many more to come, which really gets me excited. We've also got lots of asters in the garden, which will also look wonderful in September. And there'll also be a few other exciting things that I'll show you in the coming weeks. But first, let's get inside here and I'll show you exactly what I'm going to be cutting back today. I do love how the garden looks at this time of year, on how everything just encroaches onto the pathway and spills all around the edges of the borders. But it really is a good point to start just pushing a few things back so that we can get a second flush of flowers a little bit later on. Some things may not give you the full and height of the flowers as previously, but it'll bring a little bit of an extra dimension later on in the season. But there are some things that I won't need to cut back. Things like the Echinops here. The Echinops is a bean magnet, and the butterflies love it too. And it does look absolutely wonderful right now. I didn't give this the Chelsea chop this year, which I probably should have, and it has collapsed in and around the edges, and I probably should have supported it as well. But actually, I'm not too bothered. It looks okay. There are just some things I can't get round to doing everywhere. Now there are 3 plants that I have repeated along here that will be getting a really good cutback. One of those is this salvia. Now this is a pink salvia. My mother-in-law gave it to me and I have repeated it further down here. I've also got the blue nepeta again, which I have threaded through these borders. The other thing that I have repeated down here is this stachys or lamb's ears. Again, the flowers are over and I can now take them away, revealing the beautiful furry leaves. And the other thing that has been repeated quite a lot throughout the whole garden is this Alchemilla mollis, which is the yellow flower. And again, that is ready to be cut right back. And interestingly, once that goes right back, we can then start to see other plants that are starting to shine and coming up. There are some things that I won't be cutting to the ground because I love their winter structure. And one of those things is this here. It's called Phomis, and it's got this lovely candelabra style flowering running up the stem, which does look absolutely beautiful once it's all gone dry and the frost just touches it in the winter months. It looks magical. So it's worth henpicking a few flowers and plants that you quite like looking at for their winter structure as well. There are some shrubs in here. I've got the cistus just behind me. I won't need to touch that at all. And also I've got this here, which is a tree peony. And again, the foliage looks beautiful, so I won't be touching that at all right now. And then the buddleias. The buddleias are really starting to come into their own now with all of their beautiful flower plumes. I think it's really helpful to have a really good mixture of planting. Things that flower early that are going to get cut back now, giving way to all of the plants that are going to start flowering now, right up until the autumn months. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to quickly demonstrate what I mean by cutting back. And I'm going to show you with this Nepeta. It's quite a tall stem, as they do get quite big. And if we go right to the bottom of this stem, and the deeper we get in here, we can already see some new shoots coming up from the base. And I'm going to avoid cutting these back if I can, but it won't harm them if we do nip them slightly, because they will continue to flower. And then what I'm going to do is, we can see this here, and I'm just going to take the snips and take it right off. I'm going to do that with all of the big long stems. And then what we'll get, once these all have been cut away, we will then be able to start to see all the new growth appearing. The same thing applies to the Stachys flowers. So here's a good example on this one, and we are going to go as low as we can in here and take that away. And then we can really enjoy this lovely furry lamb's ears. And the same with the Alchemilla mollis. Once we get deeper into the plant, we can start to see new shoots appearing. So we'll do our best to avoid them, but more will emerge once we've finished cutting it back. Whew. Well, I ended up putting some shorts on because it got quite hot in here earlier, but we've finished off the last wheelbarrow and it's looking a lot tidier. And while I was doing this, Tom decided to trim the hedge as well. So it's a double whammy and it looks extra tidy. But what I also want to show you is this. These are allium seed heads that came up in the spring. And what I do is I keep these and I display them in the house. I will also sometimes spray them and use them as decorations for around Christmas time. Aren't they pretty? Well, that's all I've got time for today. I'm going to come back and do the other side another day. But I think you get a very good idea on how it's going to look now. And in the next 4 to 6 weeks, I'll get lots of new growth coming up. Maybe the odd flowers from some Alchemilla mollis, possibly not with the Nepeta, we'll see. All depends how the weather goes. But in no time at all, this will start to green up again. Right, time to pack away and have a nice cup of tea. Thank you so much for watching. As promised, I'm going to show you some of the dahlias that have just started to flower in the garden. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye.